Remember when that Tai Chi master got knocked out in 20 seconds by an MMA fighter? Or when early UFC events turned into grappling exhibitions because strikers just kept hitting the mat? There's a brutal pattern here, and it's not about which martial art looks cooler. Let's talk about why traditional martial artists often get destroyed when they step into the cage. Section 1. The 3 fatal gaps. Traditional martial artists walk into MMA with 3 massive holes in their game. First, no ground game. Most traditional striking arts teach zero grappling, no takedown defense, no submissions, no ground control. When a wrestler shoots for your legs or a BJJ practitioner pulls guard, years of practicing high kicks won't help you. Early MMA proved this brutally. Striking specialists kept getting taken down and submitted so consistently that striking arts were almost written off entirely. A karate black belt means nothing when you're flat on your back with someone in your guard. Second, light contact training. Point sparring doesn't simulate real fights. In traditional dojos, you score a point by landing a controlled technique, then reset. There's no continuous exchange, no eating a jab while you throw a counter, no conditioning your body to take heavy shots. Compare this to Muay Thai or boxing gyms, where fighters spar with genuine contact regularly. When a traditional martial artist who's never been hit hard faces someone who trades leather every training session, the experience gap is staggering. Third, unrealistic techniques. Flying spin kicks look incredible in demonstrations. Kata movements are aesthetically beautiful, but in MMA, they're liabilities. These techniques require space, compliance, or specific setups that don't exist against a skilled opponent who's trying to close distance and grab you. The cage exposes what works under pressure versus what only works in controlled environments. Speaking of understanding what actually works in real fighting, let me tell you about Jab AI. What makes MMA so effective is that everything gets tested under pressure. Every technique either works or gets exposed. That's exactly the approach Jab AI takes to your training. We all know nothing beats a real coach, but what if you need feedback at 2 a.m. or want to analyze your striking form during solo drills? Jab AI is your 24/7 second coach, generating personalized training plans and giving you expert, voice-based cues during workouts. Whether you're perfecting your ground game transitions, analyzing your striking combos, or breaking down sparring footage, Jab AI helps you train smarter. Available on both the App Store and Play Store. Now back to the video. Section 2. The evidence. Let's look at specific examples, because the data doesn't lie. Kung Fu's reality check. Chinese MMA coach Xu Xiaodong made headlines by challenging traditional Kung Fu masters. When he fought a self-proclaimed Tai Chi master, the fight ended in 20 seconds with a knockout. Xu's argument was blunt. This style of Kung Fu is useless in actual close combat. And he's not alone in this assessment. Pure traditional Kung Fu styles like Wing Chun, Tai Chi, and Wushu forms have produced exactly 0 MMA champions. Now, contrast this with Zhang Weili, the 2-time UFC strawweight champion who trained Shaolin Kung Fu early in life. The difference? She switched to Sanda, which is Chinese kickboxing that includes takedowns and full contact strikes. Sanda is essentially Kung Fu adapted for real fighting. Weili succeeded because she trained a modernized version with groundwork, not the purely traditional approach. Aikido's complete absence. Aikido is virtually invisible in MMA. Its techniques rely on redirecting an opponent's attack and using their momentum against them. There are no strikes, no distance management, and training is cooperative rather than competitive. Jason DeLucia, an Aikido black belt, competed in early UFC as an alternate. Royce Gracie submitted him via armbar. Since then, no notable Aikido practitioners have found success in MMA. The art simply doesn't translate. Karate and Taekwondo, only with help. Here's where it gets interesting. Some traditional stylists have become champions, but there's always a catch. Lyoto Machida brought his Shotokan karate to the UFC and became light heavyweight champion. George St-Pierre, arguably the greatest welterweight ever, started with Kyokushin karate. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson used his karate base to become a multiple-time title challenger. But here's what they all have in common: extensive cross-training in wrestling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. GSP didn't win 2 division titles with just karate. He added elite wrestling and became a grappling specialist. Machida survived in MMA because he trained grappling relentlessly. The same pattern holds for Taekwondo. Tan Le, the 1 championship featherweight world champion, has a TKD base. Rose Namajunas, former UFC strawweight champion, holds black belts in both Taekwondo and Karate. But Tan Lei himself says he trains wrestling, grappling, clinching, and Jiu-Jitsu every single day to be complete. Namajunas complements her striking with a brown belt in BJJ. The upright stance and lack of grappling in traditional TKD means that without cross-training, most TKD stylists simply can't handle takedowns. Section 3. The Adaptation Truth. So, can traditional martial artists succeed in MMA? Absolutely, but only through adaptation. Every successful traditional martial artist in MMA has embraced the full curriculum. They kept the footwork, timing, or striking angles from their base art, then added wrestling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, clinch work, and full contact sparring. They didn't just cross-train casually, they became legitimate in every discipline. This isn't a criticism of traditional arts. It's recognition that MMA is a different game with different rules. A chess grandmaster wouldn't expect to dominate checkers without learning the new game. Similarly, a karate master needs to learn wrestling to compete in MMA. Conclusion. Traditional martial arts have value for many reasons: fitness, discipline, culture, self-defense in specific contexts. But in the specific arena of MMA, they're incomplete without serious modification. The cage doesn't care about your black belt if you can't defend a double leg. And the fighters who've learned this lesson are the ones who've actually succeeded. The question isn't whether traditional martial arts work, it's whether they work for this specific challenge. And the evidence says, not without evolving. By the way, don't forget to check out our app, Jab AI.